Hello. How are you? Are you okay? I know y'all is. I know y'all okay. Yeah. Anyway, so I got a crazy story for y'all, okay? Now, it's about this doctor I used to work for, and I'm gonna call him Dr. Green. His name is not Dr. Green, but I'm gonna call him Dr. Green, okay? So now, most of my old subscribers don't know that, well, most of my new subscribers, most of my new subscribers do not know that I used to be a nurse, okay? I used to be a nurse, medical assistant, LPN, whatever you want to call it, okay? But I have a degree, okay? So anyway, okay, when I was in school or whatever, our teachers, our professors used to tell us about bad doctors and how to deal with them and everything. So I'm thinking, I'm such a sweet, lovable person. What doctor is going to treat me like that, right? That's what I'm thinking, because I really am a very sweet, lovable person to work with. All of my people that I work with, they love me, you know, so unless me and them got a problem, okay, you know, yeah. So people who know me personally, when they find out somebody don't like me, they be like, why wouldn't anybody like you, you know? And so they'll be like, it must be jealousy or something or whatever. So anyway, so when it came time for me to go and do my hours, because I had to do 240 hours at a doctor's office or in a hospital, I chose a doctor's office because I didn't think I was ready to be pushed into the hospital just yet. So I chose a doctor's office to do my hours at. So there you do blood withdrawals, venipuncture, which is pretty much the same thing. Venipuncture is like when you give somebody a shot or you take blood, phlebotomy, you know, doing labs, requisition forms, and, you know, doing all that stuff, okay? Doing all that stuff that a nurse, a doctor's assistant is supposed to do, okay? So when it came time for me to do my hours and to graduate, I didn't graduate yet, but, you know, I was close. I had passed. I was an A student, okay? I was almost valedictorian, but I was an A student, okay? So yeah, I was an A student, but I was scared. So I was trying to tell my my professor, I was like, I don't think I'm ready, you know, to do it yet, because I'm scared, you know. Even though we practice doing shots and taking blood on each other, I was comfortable with it, but I was scared at the same time, because I was afraid I was going to get that bad doctor, right? So they were like, Harriet, you know, you're really great here, and you do really good, and you do really good shots, and your gluteals are good, and your you know, all this stuff, and you know, they would tell me how great I'm doing because I was almost valedictorian, okay? So I was like, okay, but I'm scared, you know. And she was like, I know you're scared. And, you know, I said, I don't want to hurt nobody, you know. I think I need to do this over. I think I need to do the semester over. And she was like, no, you know, I know you ready. She basically kicked my ass out her office and was like, no, I know you ready, get out my office, like, you know. So I was like, okay, you know. And I'm walking like this. And at that time, I was dating my daughter's father, because we met in college. At that time, I was dating him, and I was telling him how afraid I was. I didn't want to hurt anybody and this, that, and the third. And, you know, I used to practice taking blood from my daughter's father, my ex. And I was good at it, but I was afraid, you know, like I was just scared. So he was like, you know, I got faith in you. I think you'll do good. This is when our relationship was like just beginning, you know. So he was like the best boyfriend in the world at this point. He was like, I got faith in you. You know, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. You know, you was almost valedictorian of our class and you were good. You know, blah, 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 and all that, whatever. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I'm pumping myself up, scared as fuck. Because my interview with the doctor was the next day. So I went to my interview. I wore scrubs, you know, my school scrubs, because they said we can wear that, or we can wear, you know, like interview type clothes. And I didn't have clothes like that, which is like, that's like my whole wardrobe now, you know, because I used to work in I used to work at the front office. So that's my whole wardrobe now. But back then, you know, I was a tomboy, you know, so I was wearing jeans and Chucks and all that, even though I still wear jeans and Chucks. But my wardrobe now is more so dressy. Like I have more clothes for dressy events, if you get what I mean. So I went in there and I was talking to, I'm gonna call her, what am I gonna call her? I was talking to Becky. Her name is not Becky, but I'm calling her Becky. I was talking to Becky, and she was the doctor's daughter. And she ran the office, but I didn't know that she was the doctor's daughter until way later, when I found out, you know. Anyway, so I was coming to her and I was scared. She knew I was scared, and she was asking me all these questions, you know, about blood pressure and God, what else was she asking me? I'm trying to remember. I know she was asking me if I knew how to take blood pressure, because you had to do that, because I chose a chiropractor to go to. So you had to do blood pressure, because you can't work on a patient if their blood pressure is too high. You have to get it low. She was asking me about shots, if I knew how to do shots and take blood, because we did a lot of lab there. She was asking me if I knew how to do EKGs, and I was like, yes, that is my shit. I didn't say that, but in my head I'm like, oh yeah, that's my shit. Like, I love doing EKGs. Okay, I have so many freaking books on EKGs. Oh, that was my shit. Okay, so I was like, yes, EKGs, I know how to do that. I didn't know we did that in the chiropractor, but yes. And so then she was asking me about kinesiology. Am I familiar with it? And I was like, no, but I will go home and look it up and get myself familiarized with it. So I went online and researched on kinesiology and things like that, because the doctor that I was with, he didn't prescribe medication. He was kind of more homeopathic type of doctor. He didn't want to give medication. So yeah, she was asking me all these questions that I knew the answer to, except for the kinesiology questions. But because I didn't know what kinesiology was, we didn't learn about that in school, because we didn't learn about that because we don't do that. That's what the doctor does. So yeah, anyway, nurses don't do kinesiology, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. So the doctor came, and when the doctor came in, I was scared, because that bastard, I'm calling him a bastard already, but he was a bastard. The first day I met him, he was so rude, and he was like, do you know how to take blood? You know how to do blood pressure? And I was like, yes. He said, okay, take my blood, do my blood pressure. I was like, okay. I was scared, because he was the doctor, and he was like 6'3", and me, I'm 5'7". So he was towering over me, and I'm like, okay. So I took his blood pressure, and it was high because he had high blood pressure. He was like, okay, did you check my breathing? I said, yes, I did. He said, okay, what was my breathing? I said, it was, counting on my watch, because I knew the numbers in my head, but I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like, it was 28. And he was like, good, she's good, I like her. So I'm like, cheesing, like, yeah, I got the doctor on my side, bitch. What? I'm joking, I ain't do all that, but in my head, I was happy. I was like, smiling all big and shit, right? So after that, the doctor was like, okay, we'll have you come in on this day and this day, and we'll record your hours for you and fax them in and all this and whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So that following week, I started my hours, and I was so freaking scared, okay? So scared. I went up in there, and all the other nurses were there, and one of the girls, I knew her because she went to school with me, but she graduated a year before I did. So, but I seen her in school, but she didn't know who I was, but I just came across her in school or whatever. I was like, you look so familiar. And she was like, yeah, I think I saw you around, and da 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 da. So we're talking, and then we had a massage therapist there because it was a chiropractor. So we had a massage therapist there, and I was talking to the massage therapist, and she was explaining things to me, and all this other stuff, and doing soft tissue massages, and doing the machines. I can't remember. I have not worked in a doctor's office in 4 freaking years, so I cannot remember everything. But oh my god, it's crazy. I miss that. I miss my job, but I'm gonna tell y'all why I am afraid to go back. So going down the line, the doctor had another nurse. Well, she wasn't a nurse, she was just his housekeeper, but he had her working on patients, doing soft tissue massages and stuff like that. But he would call it soft tissue. He didn't call it a massage because he could get in trouble for saying that it's a massage, because we are not massage therapists. So we did soft tissue work, which is what it was called. So one of the other nurses, I'm gonna call her a nurse even though she's not a nurse. Her name is, I'm gonna call her Lisa, okay? Lisa and Dr. Green were having an affair, okay? Dr. Green was married, okay? Now, what name I gave her? Becky. Becky was blind to the fact that her father was sleeping with Lisa, okay? So yeah, it was a mess, okay? It was a mess. So while I was there or whatever, and I'm working on patients and everything like that, my first day was very crazy. I saw like 60 patients on my first day, and I was scared. But after like the 3rd patient, I was like, I got this, so I did it, and I knocked it out. And she was like, oh, Harriet, you did really good today, and da 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 da, all that, whatever. So I'm like, being all happy and stuff in my head, I was doing that little dance, right? So I met, I'm gonna call him, it's getting hard coming up with names. I'm gonna call him Patrick. Use my Patrick. I'm gonna call him Patrick, but his name is not Patrick. So Patrick was one of the owners with the doctor. He wasn't a doctor, okay? He was just there to do records and stuff like that. So I met Patrick, and he was a black man, okay? My doctor was Jewish, okay, by the way. But I met Patrick, and we're talking, and he was like, I like her, and she seems okay, da 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 da, whatever, whatever. So I'm like, thinking in my head, you know, doing all that, right? So, went home, first day. Now, going through those days, that first week, Lisa was jealous of the fact that the doctor started liking me. So he was being nice to me at this point. He was nice, you know. He would come and talk to me and be like, I really like you, I'm so proud of you, you know. He would say things of that nature. So at the end of my thing or whatever, at the end of my hours, I forget what it's called, but I can't think of it right now. At the end, externship, that's what it's called. At the end of my externship, the doctor came over to me and he put his arm on my shoulder, and he was being nice to me during my externship now. But he came over to me and he said, Harriet, I'm so proud of you. You've done so well, and I'd like to welcome you to work with us, and da 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 da. So I'm like, I'm hired, you know, because you work there and you could either get hired or you don't get hired, you don't do a good job. So I'm like, yay, I get the job. So after I graduated in January, this was in December, okay? This was in December when my externship ended. I graduated college in January, and that following month, February, I started working at that doctor's office. First day that I came in, it was crazy. And she was supposed to call me to come in on a Monday, but she called me to come in on Saturday because somebody called out. And she called me and was like, hey, Harriet, would you mind coming in today? Like, I need you today to come in. And I'm like, sure. So I put on my scrubs. I had went and got me some scrubs, you know, because I was going to start working there. So I went and got me scrubs. And I came in, knocked them patients out. That was it. She was like, you did really good your first day, and da 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 da, and all this and whatever. So I'm like, happy. So throughout the course of me working there, again, Lisa was still there, but Lisa was very jealous because I was doing good work. Patients were requesting me, okay? Patients was waiting for me to work on them. And yeah, she got jealous and started telling the doctor a bunch of lies, talking about I'm not taking out the trash. And this is what this bitch would do. She would take the trash and leave it in the hallway. But our hallway had doors, okay? The hallway door is usually closed. When you go out through the door, you close the door, so the door is never open. This bitch would put the trash, okay, in the hallway. I'm supposed to take it out because we have duties in the office, you know. One person sweeps, one person, you know, sanitizes the rooms, one person takes out the trash and fixes the clothes, does the laundry, you know. We had chores, okay? But she would collect the trash, put it in the hallway, and wouldn't tell me that it's in the hallway. So when the doctor would come in and see that trash there, okay, she came 2 hours before me every morning. She would come 2 hours before me, and when I come in, You know, I just set up my areas, you know, set up the rooms to start seeing my patients and everything, and put bags in the garbage bags and whatever. She didn't tell me that the garbage was sitting in the hallway. The door was closed. I never go back there because the doctor's office is there, so I didn't know that it was trash there. So doctor come in, why didn't you take out this goddamn trash? And da 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 da, you never listen. And this, and this, and he's going off on me. And I'm just looking like, what happened? You know, so I said I didn't know the trash was there. So I grabbed the trash, take it out. After that, that man was such an asshole to me. Like, such an asshole to me. When we had a new nurse come in, her name is Rita, okay? That's her real name. I'm not saying nothing bad about Rita, but I loved her, okay? New nurse Rita came in. Rita started working with us. So when Rita came in, I was the one being at the front. I had specific patients that would come in and request me and wait for me. They didn't want anybody else working on them, so I would just be up front, and then when my special patients came in, I would leave the front and go and work on them because I was at the front desk now. So, okay, Rita came and told me, man, that doctor is so nasty, and he said all this nasty stuff about you and telling me to stay away from you, and that you're talking bad about the company and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't talk bad, like, because I didn't talk bad about anybody, you know, to nobody, you know. So I didn't understand why he was telling her that, right? So these damn things get on my nerves, y'all. So one day the doctor comes. It's a patient in the room that I was not working on, okay? Lisa was working on this patient. She never went and told the doctor that the patient was ready. The doctor thought that it was my patient, or he just wanted to yell at me. And he goes, why the fuck didn't you tell me that the patient was sitting in here? Are you goddamn stupid? And I was like, that is unnecessary. You don't have to talk to me like that. That's what I said, right? He goes, well, you talk back to me and you're fired. You're fired. And I was like, really? Because I'm defending myself? And I just walked away. Like, I just walked away. So I got so mad, like, because I needed the job at this point. I didn't want to lose my job because I loved my job. I loved helping people, working on my patients, making sure they're feeling better. You know, I was all about helping my patients and making sure that they felt better, or they felt some type of relief from their pain, you know, something, right? So this woman, the patient that was not my patient, she heard him talking to me, and she said, honey, you don't deserve that. And I just told him that that was so wrong, and he said so much nasty things about you. And I said, you know, like, it's ridiculous at this point. So it was so bad. I was so badly mistreated that it had got to a point where I literally used to cry to my boyfriend, my daughter's father. I would call him and cry because I did not want to go to work the next day. But I didn't want to quit my job because I had bills, you know, and I was making good money. So I didn't want to quit because I loved what I did, but I didn't like my environment. Like, I can't work like that. I can't work with somebody constantly cussing at me and belittling me, you know, and I know I'm damn good at what the fuck I do, okay? Damn good. So one day, right, I'm in the office and I told him that there was a patient ready. So he goes, why didn't you change, I can't say her name, but why didn't you change such and such appointment to Thursday? And I said, I didn't know that I was supposed to change it to Thursday. Well, I just talked to her and she said she was supposed to have her appointment for Thursday. What are you, fucking stupid? What did you go to school for? You're fucking stupid. And I would sit there and look at him like, and I would just hold it. I didn't say nothing. So then I walked away and I stepped in the back and I just cried. I just stepped in the freaking corner and I cried because I needed the job. I loved the job other than working with that doctor. But I just sat there and I just cried and cried and cried, and my eyes were red. I was trying to stop myself from crying, but I couldn't help it because he treated me so horrible, y'all. Like, that man used to curse me like he just did not give a fuck about my feelings, all because of his mistress Lisa giving him bad information just because she felt insecure about the fact that the doctor started liking me. He even told me that he would help pay for me to go to school to be a physical therapist. Like, that's how good the relationship with this doctor was at first when I first started working there, because I wanted to be a physical therapist. You know, because when I saw what they did and what the things that they do, because I was working with a physical therapist too, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, I want to do this. So when I explained that to him, he was like, oh, I'll help you find a great school and help you pay for this, and this. And I'm like, really? You know, like, because he said that he loved my work and I was such a great student and I was such a good worker. And then months, because of his mistress, okay, because of his mistress, he cursing me out, and I'm sitting in the back of the office just crying. So Becky, she comes, don't worry about him, and he's just an asshole, and I know that's my dad, but he really is an asshole, you know. And she's just trying to make me feel better, but I was just like, I can't keep working like this, you know. So that next day, he had me scanning documents because we were switching to just computers instead of having files for the patients. So I was scanning documents. While I was scanning documents, I came across a few documents that took me by surprise. I took pictures of them because I felt as though, and I still got those pictures, okay? I felt as though I needed to take these fucking pictures because some stuff was going on. So I'm about to cut this video off right now, and it's gonna be a part 2. Part 2 is coming up next.